You want to know how I tell my parents when I'm sad? This might sound a bit weird though, but I swear there's like, I'm comfortable this way and they're comfortable this way. I don't have an issue with it. When, let's say I'm really sad, like I'm going through shit, right? I would tell my parents like this: hey mom, I feel like I'm going through things. I'll try to put it into words, but I'm not really sure. I think I feel a bit sad, but maybe I'm not really sure where it's coming from. However, right now, I feel quite isolated. Maybe I need a walk. Do you want to go walk with me? And she's like, sure. The end. And then we go on a walk and then that's it. But that's how I would just like express my feelings. I don't usually go like, Mom, I feel so worthless. I don't do that. I just go like, hello mother, I've been questioning how I... That's very open, honestly. Yeah, but I know that I can be emotional. I'm just not very good at describing how I feel emotionally. It's really awkward. It feels very raw. But one thing I've always wanted to try is to be more emotional. Ever since I start, like, especially recently, this year, well, not really. Ever since I joined VShojo, I've been trying to be more, like, accepting of, like, you feel this way, let yourself feel it. You know, like, you don't have to always put everything into words, right? Sometimes you just gotta let it feel, you know? You don't have to describe it, just feel it for a moment. So I've been trying to do that. Yeah, you changed since you joined VShojo? Yeah, I've been trying to do that. And I feel like it's working. My therapist said it's working. Because usually what happens is when I'm happy, I would rationalize it. When I'm sad, I would rationalize. I always rationalize everything. Because that's part of like the treatment thing that I have. But recently I've been trying to let myself like, you know what? Feel it. You know, like feel it first and then put into words later. Because they'll feel better. Like your words will have more oomph behind it. So I've been changing slowly. It's kind of cool. I feel like I've changed a lot actually. In the past, like, year and a half, I feel like I've changed a lot. Maybe not as much yet, but in my opinion, a fuck ton. Yeah, I like marinating in it. Ooh, proud of you. It's very weird, I'd have to admit. The first time I tried to do that, I couldn't really handle myself very well. So I would, like, go on, like, swings. It was so odd. So sometimes I wouldn't really be able to, like, understand why I feel a certain way, and I get overly frustrated about it because I'm like, I feel this way, I don't know why, and I hate that, and I get frustrated. So every feeling that I can't digest in 2 seconds turned into frustration. But nowadays it's been kind of easy.
Well, if it isn't that my emotions.
Oh, well.
Chat, give them the warmest of welcomes, open wide, Mishimoki working.
No! God damn! I've suppressed my emotion for years, but I'm able to still imitate them. Okay, I'll say this right now, right? I understand what you're talking about, but to a degree, you gotta learn how to balance that shit. You know, I'm not saying like be emotional to everyone all the time. No, some situations require to be not emotional and be more logical, yes. But sometimes you have to know, at least you have to have the ability to feel. Because if you are just like fucking winging it through life, you ain't gonna feel shit. One day it's gonna affect you. Because then you're not gonna know anything. Like, you don't have to always do it, but at least you know how to. Honestly, coming from someone that used to do that for a very long time...
It's hard to say how much you or someone you see every day changed since you see the person every day. You see the small steps as they happen, and don't notice them.
Yeah. My therapist told me this because I told them, like, I don't really need to do that. I'm really scared of not being able to be in control of how I feel. Okay, super honesty moment, right, chat? As a streamer, not really, well, kind of. A super honesty moment. I feel like if I were to be emotional and I say something out of emotion, right? Especially when I feel sad or angry and I say something just randomly, that won't be good. You know what I mean? Like, that can get you into heaps and heaps of trouble. A lot of trouble, like a lot of drama, quote unquote, happens because people just kind of say shit in the heat of the moment, or they're like upset, they don't know how to describe it, so then they just vaguely do things or start saying, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like they drop something they shouldn't. Yeah, like emotional lash outs, right? Weirdly enough, as a streamer, you have to be able to like keep that shit in track, you know? Because sometimes when you're emotional, you can't tell if things should best stay private, or maybe you can talk about in a specific way. You can't tell because you're emotional. So yeah, you become passive aggressive, or you become very vague, or I don't know, alluding to shit. And obviously your audience doesn't understand, right? So either your audience get confused, uncomfortable, or they start assuming. Now that, either one of those ain't good, because y'all losing, we're losing, there's no win-win here. So I remember telling my therapist, I was like, I don't really need to do that, right? Like, I don't need to feel the emotions, you know? Because I feel like it's not gonna benefit anything. And one thing my therapist told me is you don't have to feel it. Like, you don't have to do it all the time. You just have to know how to do it, right? Because these skills are normal. You know, you can choose not to do it. It's different. You don't know how to do it, and you not wanting to do it are two completely different things. At least you know how to do it. Ever since then, I was like, you know what? Sure, let's practice a little bit. So I've been a bit more open about it. I still do keep my shit in track. I do my best to, but I also don't. Like, one thing I'll say, if you're a streamer and you're like, yeah, it's really weird because your job is technically to convey experiences and feelings, and you would think someone that could do that has to be able to feel it. Well, as long as you know... Okay, this is one thing. If you're gonna be a streamer, here's one golden advice, right? When you're not in a good mood, if you're not in a good headspace, do not click that go live button, bro. Don't. You know what you could do instead? You could talk to your friends. You could talk to people offline. You could, I don't know, maybe talk to someone else. Do not go live. I'm not saying this because I'm like, oh, you should like take your time. You should, but it's like the world, the internet doesn't need to know that. If it's like, I want to hang out with my community, that's what Discord's for, right? Like, you can always hang out on Discord with your community. It doesn't have to be live on a platform on the internet forever. You know what I mean? You can just, depending on how you feel. I'm not saying isolate yourself. I'm saying open up, but not onto the broad internet, you know? Yeah, because from my experience, sometimes it ends well. Sometimes it really doesn't. I've known a lot of people that regret it because of that. They're like, ah, shit, I shouldn't have said this. I shouldn't have done that, blah, blah, blah. And now it's on the internet forever, right? And it's like, yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. There is, actually, but... the only thing you can kind of do is apologize. If, let's say, an accident does happen, right? That just comes with the job. You know, like, I yap a lot. I've made mistakes too. We all yap a lot. If your job is to be live, you will make a mistake. That's just a given. However, the only thing you can do is either... There's three, and I'm gonna be so honest with you. Either you acknowledge it and apologize, move on and act like nothing happened, or double down. After that point, it's really... You pick your fruit, right? There's no right answer here. I know it's like, Michi, are you saying that apologizing is not the right answer? Honestly, in public, sometimes, yeah. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna point out the plus and minus. If you apologize, sometimes that is the right thing to do. However, apologizing also opens that gate for people to criticize you a bit too much, right? So, double down, all in! Me when I give a bad take and then I just lie and say my take is correct, clearly knowing
Thanks,
I'm wrong.
Fire for the sub.
Here's my honest opinion. When it comes to the public, it's kind of hard. Because if you apologize, yes, it's the right thing to do. But some people will criticize you more. Because now, some people that might not know or some people that might not understand what's going on, they just kind of assume. Now it's kind of even worse. And then at that point, you can either choose to be like, you know what, fuck it, ignore it. Or you can also double down again or apologize again. Either way, if you ignore it, some people might not like it, or it's either some people might not like it or you're stuck in a loop, right? So sometimes you don't want to overly apologize. Here's one thing. Do not apologize for something that isn't your fault. Because sometimes the moment you apologize, some people might not get the narrative right. And it creates a lot of misunderstandings. It gets stuck on a lot of things. And yeah, it doesn't really... It's not as easy as you think it is. You know, you would think it's like, oh, just apologize. That's so easy, 5-head. When you're a streamer, not really, right? And I get that. I'm not gonna be like, guys, just say sorry. What's so hard about... No. There is a downside to it because some people would purposely twist your words, misunderstand you, assume. It can cause more trouble. And if, let's say, you apologize for something that isn't... Like, the way you apologize also matters. There's a whole thing like that. Another one is ignoring it. Now, ignoring it, well, the good side of it is if you succeed, then no one will remember. But the downside is you are avoiding accountability. So take that however you like. Now, doubling down is always the right answer, right, Chad? When you fuck up, you know, don't apologize. Don't move on. You double down. You add on to it. You know, the people that say... don't lie, it's because they don't know how to lie to support that lie, right? When the moment you lie, you don't just build a ladder, chat. You build a fucking... You have to build an empire. You know, it's always the right thing. You gotta go all in. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, but that is partially a truth. If you double down, I want you to know the risk is you gotta fucking keep going, right? The moment you start digging that hole, the more you dig, the harder to get out. The more you dig, the harder it is to get out. Also, take that at your own peril. All of these choices are like, choose
Michi,
what you want.
Your mods don't get a stiff neck from nodding and shaking their heads at this topic.
A lot of the times, you gotta know when to just move on, when to acknowledge, when to double down. Yeah, choose your poison. There is no right or wrong here. It's just what you think feels right. Now me, I'm the type of person that loves doubling. Oh, I love that shit. When I give misinformation, ooh, I'll write myself an article, right? I'm gonna go on the internet. I go, I'll be like, guys, according to this website that was made yesterday by Anonymous, it supports my claim. Chat's like, Michi, we don't even know who wrote it. Where's the credit? Where's the credit? Who cares? And then guess what? Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make the credits. I'm gonna write some more. It's like, here's the credits. The credits was made after the... There you go. Boom, I honestly... Everyone will make mistakes. TLDR, everyone always makes mistakes. I personally like to own up to it. I don't know. I like to own up to it because what I think is like, the moment I own up to it, I will change, and that's when I'm gonna be like, okay, well, fuck it, right? Like, that's gonna be the bane of my existence. I made like a mistake, but at least I'm never gonna do it again. But I made that one mistake that one time. Oops. I'll never do it again. The end. And after that, it'll just become a joke after a while. That's how I like to do it. I wouldn't say it always works. Some people will not really like... Okay, the best way I can explain it is when I apologize, I don't expect forgiveness. I just kind of want people to know that I did make a mistake and I apologize. If they forgive me and give me a second chance, I appreciate it. If they don't, that's fine. And I don't really... You don't owe it to me, right? However, the moment I do notice some people do apologize and they expect to be forgiven, that could also trip you up. Some people will use it against you, and that could also trip you up. Either way, you gotta develop a mentality that you stick to. You know, my mentality is like, shit, I'll be better, y'all, move on, and then we go, right? It's kind of like okay, let's do this, let's do that, let's not do this. Ooh, let's do this, I regret that, let's never do that again. Next one. That's kind of how I like to do it. But you gotta have a solid head on your shoulders. You know, you can't let other people keep making fun of you, hurting you, and random shit. And if you apologize, you don't expect forgiveness. That's like the easiest way to do it. And I feel like that's also the fairest way. Yeah. The apology is more for yourself to progress forward, not them. I agree. Here's one thing. Okay, maybe it's because I'm an idiot, right? Maybe to a degree I am an idiot. I think that if you make a mistake, the hardest part is admitting what you do. It's not admitting that you made a mistake. It's admitting the fact, like, what the mistake is. Like, you have to be able to look at the mistakes you've made dead in the eye and go like, shit, I really did that. Like, I really did that. That's fucked. You know? And then you have to own up to it. Because if you just put it in your head, right? You're like, yeah, I know. Like, I know that I did something bad. And then you sweep it away. You don't really feel it yet. Yeah, you kind of have to like confront it and then forgive yourself. Because if not, it's gonna be really hard to change. So that's always the hardest part. And that's why I think that should be like the main foundation. If you are gonna apologize, you gotta be able to face up to what the fuck you did. You know, don't do the like, hey, I'm sorry for that. For what? You know, like, I did that thing that one time that you... What? You gotta face up to it. You gotta own up to it, swallow that shit. It's a tough pill to swallow, but it's good for you. It's tough, but it's better. So... It is still hard. I say all this shit. It's tough to do. It's very fucking uncomfortable. And it makes you feel very stressed and overwhelmed. Don't let yourself sink into the whole I'm a bad person mentality. You're just a guy that made a mistake, right? You're not a horrible person. You're not like a criminal or a villain, and you're not an asshole. You're just a guy that made a mistake. It's fine. Don't sink yourself in, you know what I mean? Yeah, I know it's so much easier said than done. But trust me, chat. Once it's done, it feels better. So, work hard now, relax later, kind of a thing. Yeah, not a bad person, just a dude who did a dick move one time. It's fine. Just don't do the dick move again. You know? I know that what I said was just so, like, random, but I do like talking about real shit every now and then. I think nowadays, this is one thing that I've learned from my therapist years ago that it stuck to my head. Ever since then, it kind of helped my mentality a little bit. My therapist said that when you do things, most of the time, it is for yourself, right? Either for self-improvement or for self-appreciation. Most of the time, it should be for yourself. If you do something to seek any validation from other people, you will never feel like what you did was good enough. So if all you do, if your life revolves around doing things to appease others, you will never feel like you're good enough. This includes, you know, when you do something to please others, or when you apologize, or when you... anything you do. So if your life revolves around appeasing others or the people around you, it's gonna affect you eventually, chat. So everything you do, make sure that this is mostly like a you-on-you kind of a thing. You know, it helps. It actually does. It's hard to do. It's very fucking uncomfortable. Chat, holy shit. I have made multiple apologies in my life. Right, recently I just had to do stuff publicly more, but I've done a lot of mistakes and I had to apologize a lot. I'm gonna be very fucking transparent with you, chat. Every time I make an apology, right, it's because I feel like I'm such a shit human being. That is normal. Because, well, if you made a mistake, probably you would feel bad because people don't like making mistakes. Who does, right? You would feel like a shit human being. Every time I do, I would have like a whole mental break. It doesn't matter how small, how medium, or how big the problem is. It's the same in my eyes. Like, I feel like I just did the worst thing imaginable. I would feel like shit. I would question myself. And then, you know, every now and then you get a mental breakdown. I'm telling you, it's hard. I'm not gonna like say like, oh guys, just do this. It's easy. No, bro. Like, I go through the motion of the ocean. You know what I mean? Like, I beat myself up, yeah, for a couple of hours. And then I feel like shit. Sometimes you get like... I think one time, it was really bad. And I felt really bad. So I had a panic attack. Even though I made the mistake. Like, I actually did fuck up. And I made the mistake, right? Just thinking about it gave me a panic attack. And I was like freaking out. Because I'm like, shit, I'm a horrible person. Blah, blah, blah. But then, you gotta calm yourself down. I'm saying all this because I want you to know it is normal to feel this way. Like, I don't need you guys to be like, oh my god, that's horrible. No, it's normal for you to feel bad, you know? But after that point, you gotta breathe. You gotta realize where you are. You gotta breathe. You gotta remind yourself that you do make mistakes. And then you try. You know, the whole point isn't you try. You're not perfect. But if you're a person that tries, that's already pretty good, you know? So I don't want to ever tell a story that's like one-sided where it's like, oh, just do this, chat. Just do this or just do that. It's so easy. It's not. It's very hard to confront shit sometimes. I get it. Everyone, even I do that, bro. I hate confronting myself. Look at me. I like to think that I'm perfect. Because I love to live in my own beautiful bubble. Well, I never make mistakes. And I'm one of the most perfect people to ever exist. Because how dare I? I know. It's so hard to be this good. Every now and then, I keep forgetting how good of a person I am. And it's so hard, you know? So, you are... Exactly. I'll give you your $10 after this stream. That is me. I am perfect. So sometimes when, like, someone makes up a lie... You know, when someone lies to me and said, Michi, you actually made a mistake. I'm like, fuck you, you're wrong. It's so hard. But yeah, you go through it. It's okay. Don't beat yourself up. You gotta confront it. The confronting part is very difficult, but you got it. Everyone feels the same. You're not alone in this. You know when sometimes you watch people and they're like, here is how to improve your life. And they only tell you the how-tos and the result, and they don't tell you, like, the painful process that you have to go through. Bruh, I fucking hate that shit so much. It's like, how to be beautiful. So first, consider this. The result is this. I did that. Isn't it easy? And they, like, you're like, okay, let's try doing that. You do it, and it's so fucking hard. And you're like, what the fuck? They made it look so easy. How am I not able to do it? I hate that shit, all right? Why you gotta exclude the fact that I have to feel unbearable pain? What? Hello? You should tell me. You're telling me something worth having is never easy? Fuck you. At least remind me. I know. Sometimes I feel like shit because I'm just like, if they could do it so easily, why can't I? So I will be always honest. Bruh, I can't do half the shit I got to do. Okay, it'd be tough. You gotta do it though. You still gotta lock the fuck in. You take your time. You gotta lock in. But it is tough to do. No one's faulting you. That pain or like that really uncomfortable feeling you're feeling, we all feel that, man.